Hi, Stephen here. Today I want to speak on the importance of being a long-term investor. Investing in a publicly traded market, whether in stocks or bonds, involves some level of risk. It is impossible to eliminate risk in a publicly traded market. So the first question everyone must answer is, can I afford to have this money at risk? In other words, is the amount you have invested something you need as an emergency fund or a near-term purchase or expense? If the answer is yes, you should not have those funds at risk. If you need the funds to generate an income for you, either now or within the next 5 to 10 years, you should definitely consider protecting those assets and not taking a risk with those either. So what can or should a person have at risk? Funds that are not needed for any purpose within 5 years. If your time frame is 5 years or longer, then I believe you can afford to invest in publicly traded markets and have money at risk. Once you have determined how much of your assets can or should be at risk, the next question becomes, how can we minimize the risk that we are taking? We do that through asset allocation and diversification. This does not eliminate risk, but it does minimize it. Once you have the proper asset allocation based on your needs and goals and diversification, then you stay disciplined. History has proven that those who stay disciplined and focus on the long term win. Human nature is to focus on the noise and the current events, which cause us to react. Here is a chart to illustrate my point. There are a few things that I want to point out on this chart. This chart illustrates how a diversified portfolio with an asset allocation mix of 60% stocks, 40% bonds performed versus individual asset classes. You will see the asset allocation model connected by dots and lines from left to right across the chart. As you'll see on this chart, a diversified portfolio doesn't always produce the highest returns every year, but it also should not produce the lowest returns. It's designed to smooth out a person's ride over time. If you look to the far end of the chart, you'll notice two columns, the annual return and also the volatility. The farthest right column shows volatility. You see the asset allocation model is all the way down towards the bottom of the volatility number, but it actually has a higher return than, let's say, US large cap stocks over that same period of time. The temptation for people is to look at 2013, 2014, 2015 and see that US large has performed better than a diversified model and say, hey, let's just go all US large. Let's not be diversified. But the problem with doing that is you take on a lot more risk and you actually get a lower rate of return over time. To recap, first decide if you can afford the risk, meaning you have a long time frame. Then diversify your portfolio and stay disciplined. It sounds simple, but it's not always that easy. If you need help with your specific situation, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or to any of us here at Wise Wealth.